Imagine being ripped from your loved ones, forced into a ship, and sold into a lifetime of bondage without ever being given the right to say no. Recently, a prominent figure by the name of Sneeko in the online space claimed that slavery was a choice.
What?
The notion that slavery was a choice is a lie so heinous, it's a wonder it's still being peddled in the 21st century.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
Slavery was a brutal and inhumane system of oppression perpetrated by governments and institutions and enforced through the violent, coercive, and economically exploitive treatment of enslaved individuals. Ripped from their homes, families, and cultures, enslaved people were forced to toil in inhumane conditions without fair compensation, their bodies and minds subjected to relentless physical, mental, and emotional abuse, denied the most basic human rights and dignity, including the right to own property, the right to marry, and the right to bear children. They were reduced to nothing more than property, their value measured in the profit they could generate for their enslavers. This dehumanizing system was built on the principles of power, dominance, and control, and its legacy of brutality and oppression continues to haunt us to this day. The transatlantic slave trade, which lasted from the 15th to the 19th century, forcibly brought millions of Africans to the Americas, where they were sold into slavery. Enslaved people were not given a choice in the matter. They were captured, sold, and forced to work against their will. Furthermore, once enslaved, people were not given the freedom to choose their circumstances. They were forced to live in slave quarters, work long hours, and were subject to punishment such as whippings and branding for even the slightest infraction. The idea that enslaved people had a choice in the circumstances is a gross distortion of history.
He's right, you know.
In fact, many enslaved people risked their lives to escape, seek freedom, fight for their rights. Yes, the Underground Railroad, for example, was a network of secret routes and safe houses that helped enslaved people escape freedom in the North. The Amistad case, remember that? In which a group of enslaved Africans overthrew their captors and won their freedoms in court. That's another powerful example of enslaved people's resistance to oppression. So in conclusion, slavery was not a choice. As we celebrate Black History Month, let's remember the struggles of our ancestors. It was a brutal system of oppression that was forced through violence and coercion, and it required the labor, suffering, and sacrifice of millions of enslaved people. By erasing that reality, we do a disservice to the millions of people who were forcibly enslaved, to the ongoing struggles of Black people in the United States and around the world. God bless you. Remember to like, share, comment, and thank you for viewing.